The Nova Guest List Podcast.
With Kieran McGuinness.
The very best in indie, alternative and homegrown music from the seriously addictive Radio Nova.
Yeah, that's the brilliant Niamh Bury on Radio Nova, and that song is called Budapest from her debut album, which she released on Friday, called Yellow Roses. And it's an absolutely brilliant listen, and we're very, very lucky to have Niamh on the line. Hi Niamh, it's lovely to talk to you.
Thank you, it's lovely to talk to you too.
Yeah, so the album Yellow Roses came out on Friday, and it's a gorgeous listen. It's really kind of really rich, folky, and there's a bit of Irish trad in there, a bit of American kind of folk, I thought, in there as well. But it's a gorgeous listen. How does it feel to have it out?
It feels amazing. Yeah, it's a record I was working on for a little while, and I finished it about 2 years ago. So I've been kind of sitting on it, just waiting for everybody else to be able to hear it. But I'm really, really proud of it, and yeah, it's just a pure joy to have it out now.
2 years ago you finished it. I finished an album a year and a half ago, and I found it impossible. I just played it to everybody all the time. Did you do the same, or did you say, no, it's locked up?
I mean, my family and friends have definitely heard it from the get-go. I was really excited about it as soon as we finished recording it. So, yeah, but I've had to keep it kind of under lock and key for a little while, which is hard as well. But yeah, these things just take time, and I think it came out at the right time. So.
Yeah. You know, it's definitely got a summery kind of, there's a nature vibe in it. There's a lot of references to blue skies and things like that in the song Yellow Roses, for example. So one thing about it is it feels very fully formed. It feels very mature. And that's like, the production is like that. You know, it's full of clarity and simple arrangements, like you're confident of the song. How did you get to the point where, it sounds like a third album, you know, it sounds like someone who had been doing it for a while and they know where they are. How has that come about?
I think, I've been doing music for a really long time, and I've been writing for a really long time, but I just never really got around to recording an album, so it's been something I've been working towards for probably 10 years or something. So I think, I produced it with my friend Kieran McGuinness, who also engineered and mixed the whole album. And he kind of gave me the push I needed, I think. At a certain point, he was like, oh, I know you've got an album of songs, and I'm going to record them with you. And I was like, yeah, great, let's just do it. So I think it's something I've been working towards for a long time. So maybe that's why it feels a bit more fully formed than some other first albums, I suppose. Yeah,
what a pleasure it is to have someone who's going to give you that push, you know, and kind of is on your wavelength, I suppose. It must be brilliant.
Yeah,
that's a community. I guess that's a community thing. You know, that's like people you play with and people you kind of in music that can kind of have that feeling for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've known Breen for a long time. We probably met in Walsh's pub in Stoneybatter. Again, about 10 years ago, and we just have loads of music friends in common, and I really trust his ears as well, and I trust his taste, so we were really on the same wavelength when we were in the pre-production phase and everything. It's really nice.
So on the songs, and maybe I'm totally missing the mark here, but they sound like the melodies come first. It sounds like that, and the song is built around melodies, and maybe the lyrics are right up there at the start as well. But it does sound like the melody is to the fore, and then everything kind of fits into it, because it's all the supporting music is really kind of supportive. You know, really good arrangements, really great sounds with double bass, cello, harp, warm acoustic sounds. Is that the way that they kind of come about, or the way they came about for the album?
I would say lyrics and melody almost come simultaneously. So I would usually start with a lyrical idea, and then the music kind of builds up around it. So actually, lyrics kind of are the first starting point for me, usually. Yeah, and then with the arrangements, we had an idea of what we wanted to sound like, but a lot of it was improvised by the players on the record. So I was just really lucky to work with such amazing musicians.
Yeah, that's brilliant to have that sort of thing. Well, one of the reasons that I thought that the lyrics might have come are just slightly behind the melodies is because it's really I think the tone of the lyrics are kind of passive. It's like you're an observer, you know, and so it's really interesting to hear someone. It's nearly that a lot of the conversations or thoughts are in your head about situations in front of you, and they're not active like you're kind of in this. You're not doing the thing at the time. It's like you're reflecting on it. Is that something that you wanted to do, or you felt like you found afterwards, or you noticed afterwards?
No, that's really interesting. I've never had it put to me like that before, and I find it really interesting when people kind of interpret the songs in their own way. But yeah, I mean, I guess like songwriting for me it's about processing situations and feelings and emotions. So I guess it is very much like an internal thing for me where I'm observing the outside world, I guess, or my own feelings and trying to be like a little bit like standing on top of things, I suppose. I don't know if that makes sense, but
what do you mean standing on top of things?
I mean like viewing a situation from above, maybe.
No, that's totally what I get. I can imagine, you know, there'd be loads of times where you're like playing a guitar like a ghost in the corner while a situation happens in front of you or something. I don't know if that's a music video idea, but you know, you can have that one. You can have that one for free. So, so I guess, and we're talking to Niamh Bury here, all about the album Yellow Roses. You're on the Claddagh label, Irish trad, but I hear a lot of American folk influences in this, nearly more than I hear Irish trad in it, like Joni Mitchell, Joanna Newsom, kind of Bright Eyes, things like that, much more than I hear Irish. Now, obviously, there is a huge Irish connection in it as well. There is that side, but would you see that yourself? Or?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, my family aren't traditional musicians, and I came to traditional singing kind of later, like in my late teens and early 20s, I would say. But I definitely grew up on American folk, like the kind of legends of Laurel Canyon were like my bread and butter. So like Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, Mamas and Papas, that was all kind of, that's definitely in the mix. And I mean, I love Joanna Newsom. Bright Eyes was a big influence for me when I was a teenager, and just, Conor McGuinness lyrics are really, I think I can sometimes see that kind of influence as well in my own songwriting. But yeah, I mean, I'm around a lot of Irish music, just kind of day to day and in sessions, and I think it also makes its way in as well. Kind of a mix. Well,
the best stuff is kind of mongrel, you know, it's going to have all the different kind of sides to it, I guess. Well, look, the album's brilliant, Niamh, and congratulations on it. Yellow Roses is out now, and you're going to be on tour, so and I know you're thinking about, at times you're just sitting there thinking about the tour and getting ready for it. So that's going to be really exciting when it happens. One of the songs on the album I wanted to chat to you about is the song Beehive, which is one of my favourites on the album. I think it's the second track, or one of the opening tracks anyway. And can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I think there's something really interesting going on in the background of it.
Yeah, I wrote that song just after I had come back from Canada. I was travelling there for about 4 months, and I had picked up a book called Wisdom of the Elders, which was all about how like native indigenous wisdom and medicine kind of overlaps with science, and how they both kind of can complement each other. So I was reading a passage about a tribe in the Amazon that say that the human brain is like a beehive, because it's like firing all these neurons and they're like little bees flying around, but it's also really intricately ordered and really beautiful. So I loved that image, and that's where the song started for me. So.
Yeah, it's a great inspiration for a song. Well, look, Niamh Bury, thank you so much for chatting to us. The album is Yellow Roses. It's out now, and go and check her out. She's playing across Ireland and London in April, with a date in Dublin on the 28th of April. So go and check that out. Thank you so much for chatting to us, Niamh.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we'll chat to you very, very soon. Let's play Beehive from the album Yellow Roses. It's Radio Nova.
The Nova Guest List Podcast with Kieran McGuinness. The very best in indie, alternative and homegrown music from the seriously addictive Radio Nova.